Good morning, and it's good to be back again. We've had so much going on with our new granddaughter coming home and taking a trip down to see my daughter and son-in-law that it's been a while since I've been back being able to do these. Plus, again, just keep running into technical difficulties. But it's good to be back with you this morning. I'm hoping everything is going to go well, praying that things have been going well for you as you've been out in the battle. We are getting ready to rumble because we have a spiritual battle that is before us. And as we start out this morning, spring has arrived, finally, even though it may be a month or so late. Finally today, and the last few days, it's been warm and beautiful and sunny, and prompted me to pull out my flip-flops without my socks and wear them around. And I just love wearing flip-flops. But it's not what I'd want to wear if I was in the middle of a battle, in the middle of a war. I want more protection on my feet. And so today we're going to talk about the footwear of a spiritual soldier. The Bible tells us, Paul continues on in his look at God's arsenal of our weaponry. He says to have your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. You know, we've looked at the fact that the war is real and happening, and that the enemy is strong and cunning. And the weapons of our warfare are spiritual in nature, that they aren't just something that is that we can grab at the local store. We can't go down and pick them up at Army Navy. We have to go to God for them in His arsenal. The cool thing is He makes them available to us. He's provided them for us if we'll put them on. And He says put them on every day. And so I would encourage you to do that every day towards the beginning of the day. Now let's talk about footwear for a little bit, and shoes, and how important they are. You ask most women and they understand how important shoes are, don't they? Look in the closet and they've got dozens and dozens. We're reminded of the story of Imelda Marcos and her thousands upon thousands of very expensive shoes. My wife has just a few pair, actually. I'm a blessed fella. She's not in love with jewelry or with shoes. She's got just a couple pair, but they're vital pairs. We've spent a good deal of money on those because she needed some extra support. Well, the same thing is true of the soldier. Their soldier shoes are incredibly valuable and incredibly important. We couldn't picture going out and marching or getting involved in combat without our feet covered, could we? So it's important, and it's something that needs to be done at the beginning of the day. It needs to be started right off, you know, we need to check them and be sure that they're on. One of the funny stories out of our past is when we were serving a church in Clio, Alabama. We had to drive each day about an hour and a half down to school where my wife and I were going to college and our children were in elementary school. And we got almost all the way down there. The kids would often get in the car and then just fall right back to sleep after we'd gotten them dressed. And we were almost to the school. We were just a mile or so away, and turned around and realized as we were waking the children up that they didn't have their shoes on, and that they weren't in the car either. We had left their shoes at home. And I actually contemplated, well, could they make it through the day of school without shoes? Well, obviously it's also against school policy. You've got to have shoes on there. So we had to make a quick dash to the Dollar General and pick up a couple of cheap pairs of sneakers and make sure that they were shod and prepared for their day. Well, the same way us as spiritual soldiers, we need to be shod and prepared for the day. So a couple things about these soldiers' shoes and what they were. Again, Paul is looking at a Roman soldier. He's envisioning that, and the way that these shoes were prepared, the way that they were made, is that they would provide several things. At first, they would give steadfastness and traction. You know, I always think about athletic cleats and how football players and soccer players and so on, they have those spikes on the bottom of their shoes to give them that extra push. It dug into the ground and allowed them to move forward, even against pressure from other players. And that's the way these were designed. They had spikes on the bottom of them so that they could keep moving forward, keep gaining ground, keep advancing. And you know, we need to remember that our weaponry isn't just simply for our defense; it's to advance. And Paul says very specifically, this is the footwear of the preparation of the gospel of peace. Well, the first two letters in the word gospel are go. And so he's encouraging us by this illustration that we're to be going forward, moving forward with the gospel. So it gives us steadfastness and traction. It gives us readiness and preparation. I remember the story of the Minutemen in the Revolutionary War, and often they would sleep with their shoes on because they never knew what time of night, early in the morning, the call might come to rise up and take arms. And so they They wanted to be able to go as soon as the bell was rung or the trumpet sounded or the call went out, so they'd be ready when the battle came to their home front. And then, as I said, it's for the purpose of advancing and spreading. And Paul says it's for the gospel of peace. You know, as we go with the good news, as we go and tell people about Jesus, we're sharing with them the one sure way, the only way really, to long and lasting peace. Not necessarily the absence of conflict or the ceasing of war, but of a peace that passes understanding, a peace that will guard and guide our hearts as we share the gospel. Isaiah 52:7 says this, "How lovely on the mountain are the feet of him who brings good news, who announces peace and brings good news of happiness, who announces salvation and says to Zion, your God reigns." I don't know, look down at your feet and maybe you look and think, well, my feet aren't all that beautiful. But if you're sharing with someone around you the love of God, the love of Christ, you have beautiful feet, and feet that need to be protected. Because one of the things that the enemy wants to stop as quickly as he can is any of us sharing the love of Christ, the love of God. And so put on that footwear. Be ready for the battle because it's out there. This is Dave Bentley. I'm pastor at Precision Valley Baptist Church, and encourage you to come and join us. This Sunday in the month of May, we're talking about some of the things that I call the insanity of Christianity in a mini-series I've called That's Just Crazy. And this coming Sunday is Mother's Day, and we're going to just look at the craziest mother ever. Wonder who you think she might be. Come and experience that with us, and come and hear about this craziness that is called Christianity. And maybe, just maybe, you might think, you know what, I'm crazy enough to believe that too. God bless you. Have a great time. Connect with us on Facebook if you will. You can find us on there under PVBC. Also, I'm on there. Would love to get to know you better. And if we can ever do anything for you, if we can pray for you, just drop us a note. Our email is dabent1988@yahoo.com. And our web address for the church is pv-bc.org. Look us up, check us out, and get connected. God bless you, and let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this?